5 things to do and remember before sending that angry email to your kid's coach. So number 1, there may be a lot you don't know. Maybe they pulled your kid out of the game or substituted them at a weird time, and there was a really good reason for it. But since you can't read the coach's mind, you don't actually know. Look, coaches try to be good communicators, and even if they're over communicating, they can't possibly tell every parent in the stands why they're making every move that they're making in real time or even after the game. They're not going to send a big debriefing like, hey, here's why I moved your kid in this inning, this inning, this inning. It's too much. So make sure, if you know your coach's overall intentions, and this is hopefully explained in a preseason parent policy meeting, then understand that they're not probably trying to screw your kid over all the time. That these moves, if you're like, man, why'd they take him out? Like that really doesn't sit well with me. Don't read the coach's mind. You probably don't know. There probably is a good reason, and don't assume a negative intent for every move that they make. Number 2, coaches are not perfect. Sometimes they do make mistakes. Do they need to hear about it every time they do that? It depends. If it's like something where they're really falling short on behavior, maybe they act inappropriately towards an umpire, or they yell at another coach, or yell at a kid in a really inappropriate way, yeah, maybe the coach needs that feedback. But as far as like playing time, they make a decision that ends up costing a team the game. Do they need to hear about that from parents? A, they probably already know. Like, we are humans just like anyone else. We know when we make mistakes. We know we probably shouldn't have made that substitution. We probably should have left that pitcher in longer. Probably should have pinch hit for that person, or we just like screwed the lineup up in a way that we didn't expect, and it really came back to bite us. These things do happen. Coaches are a part of the team just like players, and you cannot expect them to be absolutely perfect. So should you always run to give them feedback or always run to give criticism after they make a mistake? I don't think so. Make sure you're giving your coach the charity that they deserve, just like any other human who isn't perfect, who is fallible, and does make mistakes. Number 3, ask yourself, are you upset or is your kid upset? Or are you more upset than your kid is? Sometimes you as a parent might be like, why is my kid playing right field? This is a travesty. They should be playing third base. Maybe your kid's not that upset about it. Maybe they're not upset about it at all. Maybe they like the variety. Maybe they like playing both positions. Maybe they just understand that it's okay the coach mixes positions up a little bit, and it seems fair, right? Make sure you check in with yourself and, other parents, spouse, whoever, partner, and make sure, like, if you're getting riled up for someone, kind of read the room and figure out, hey, is it only me? Is anyone else upset about this? Is my kid upset about this? Because often it's a mismatch. Number 4, ask yourself, is this issue better handled by my kid themselves? Playing time is a great example. It's a great time for your kid to learn to advocate for themselves and to have hard conversations with adults. We don't need mommy and daddy running to the coach every time asking about playing time or asking about their role or asking why they're not a starter, why, whatever it is. The player can ask those same questions, right? And again, this is also a way to say, oh, am I more upset about this than my kid? As a parent, you probably want to defer in most situations to your child to let them communicate with the coach. And if you know your coach well, and if you had these discussions about policy and all this other stuff, this shouldn't be that hard, right? For me, as a former travel academy owner, we had a parent meeting before every season. And in those meetings, we would lay out these policies. And I would tell them, hey, your kid needs to come to me first about playing time, about where they're playing, whatever it is. After that, if there's still something unresolved that we just can't come to agreement on, then parents, we can have a chat, whatever it is. But in service of building resilient adults who become independent, who can have hard conversations with other people, we want to have the kid break that wall first. Number 5, ask yourself before running and talking to coach, is this the end of the world? Is this thing that maybe my kid did get screwed over about, maybe this thing that was unfair, maybe the way they got talked to in a certain moment, maybe it wasn't perfect, maybe it wasn't right, maybe it was unfair, but maybe this is a good time to let them learn that lesson for life, right? Because look, I'm not advocating that imperfect coaches should remain imperfect, but your kid's going to have a lot of different coaches. They're going to have some really nice ones. They're going to have some really awful ones. They're going to have some good communicators, some terrible communicators. They're going to have every version in between. I know I sure did as a ball player who played baseball for 22 years. I learned something from all of them. And sometimes it was someone like, oh, I just never want to be like this coach one day, right? And there are other ones like, I wish I was more like my coach. So as a parent, Ask yourself, is this a life learning situation? Is this a moment where, yeah, there's a little nepotism going on, but you know what? At age 13, maybe this is a good time for my kid to learn about nepotism. And this is the way they're going to do it. And I wish it wasn't, but here we are, right? They'll still have baseball season next year. Maybe they don't get to play the position that, or as much playing time as they should this year, but life isn't fair and I'm going to let this play out. That can be the right answer sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So check in with yourself and ask, is this a good time for my kid to experience and work through some of the unfairness that might be created by their coach? Again, it's not a good thing. If life was fair, if life was perfect, it would always be fair. But we also know that it's not. And we do know that sports is a great way for teaching life lessons in a safe, sort of controlled environment. So all those things being said, there are lots of things that will get you spun up as a parent. And you really have to ask yourself and check in, do I need to talk to coach about this at all? If so, how do I bring it up? What's the most respectful way to do it? Am I too emotional to talk about it right now? But hopefully you'll remember some of these 5 things that I mentioned in this video the next time you need to or considering approaching your coach. So thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe, share this video with another parent who might need it. Leave me a comment, and I'll see you here in the next video.